Heating is one of those things you don't think about until it stops working, and then suddenly, it's all you can think about. Today, we're sitting down with Russ from R&B Heating and Plumbing, a Checkatrade reviewed heating expert, to tackle some of the biggest heating questions. Let's go. What made you want to be a heating engineer?
Well, when I left school, my dad said to me, the most important thing you can do is get a trade. So I just applied for a load of jobs. The only two I got offered was a heating engineer and a car mechanic, and I just chose the heating engineer job.
Describe your job in 3 words.
My job in 3 words, I would say good variety, enjoyable and rewarding.
What's the most common thing people ask you?
The most common thing we get asked is the boiler temperature set correctly? We do get asked that a lot.
What's the biggest heating mistake people make?
I think the biggest mistake people do, or make, is not getting their boiler serviced and maintained correctly, because you need to look after the boiler, and it'll prolong the life of it and save you money in the long run.
If you could give homeowners one golden rule about heating, what would it be?
I would say if your heating engineer advises you that the boiler's reached the end of its life and it needs replacing, just get it done, because you can end up throwing good money after bad.
What's the worst heating job you've ever walked into?
We've been really lucky, really. We don't really have any nightmare jobs. Some jobs are harder than others, but yeah, the job's a job, really.
Is an electric boiler cheaper to run than a gas boiler?
Not necessarily. It depends on what the situation is, what type of house you got, what fuel you got available. If there's solar panels already on the roof, electric may be the way forward, but there is no definitive answer on that.
What's the most energy efficient heating system right now?
I think gas boilers are still very efficient. They heat up instantly, they're very fast, and they can heat water to high temperatures. So yeah, it just really does depend on what fuel you've got available, but I would say gas is still very much up there at the moment.
What's the best way to cut your heating bill without replacing your boiler?
So getting the boiler serviced is really important. Keep that well maintained and looked after, and think about the temperatures that you're running your house at. Can you reduce it by a few degrees and still be comfortable? Just being mindful, really.
Can you really save money with a smart thermostat, or is it just a gadget?
You can definitely save money with smart thermostats. In my opinion, they're really good. They give you a lot of control. You can control smart thermostats from your iPhones or tablets or smartphones. So it gives you control outside the house as well as in it. So yeah, definitely in my opinion.
Should people future-proof their heating now, or wait to see what happens?
I would say hold off and wait to see what happens. We still don't really know what direction it's going to go in. So I would say certainly don't rush out and panic. Spending money on your house that you might find later on is not going to be the way forward.
What steps can people take to reduce their energy bills?
So reducing energy bills, you just need to, think about your temperatures in the house, reduce your room thermostat temperature a little bit, have shorter showers, use less hot water. Just really basic stuff can make a big difference.
Are gas boilers being phased out, or is that just media hype?
I don't think gas boilers are being phased out at all. I think they're still going to be around for a long time yet.
Should people start thinking about electric boilers for their home?
I don't think people need to rush into thinking about electric boilers. Certainly something to be considered, but everything has to be right.
What's the biggest misconception people have about electric boilers?
I think the biggest misconception at the moment is electric boilers are going to save people a lot of money. They can still be quite expensive to run, so before going rushing in to get an electric boiler, I think you should do your homework, make sure you get the experts on board.
A lot of people say electric boilers aren't powerful enough. Is that true?
Yeah, electric boilers can be as powerful as you need them to be. As long as the system's sized correctly and the design is right, then electric boilers will easily be able to cope with your house and your situation.
Be honest, would you install an electric boiler in your own home?
Not at the moment.
Are hybrid systems the best of both worlds?
Hybrids are good because you're getting the best of both worlds. You've got the gas and the electric supply, but they are expensive to install, so definitely do your homework first, make sure you get the experts on board and see if it's the right fit for your house or your property.
Does it make sense to switch to an electric boiler now, or should people wait?
My personal opinion, I would wait and see what happens. We don't really know what's going to happen with the fuels or which way we're going to end up going, so I wouldn't be rushing into anything just yet.
How often should you service your boiler?
Gas boilers need to be serviced every 12 months unless the manufacturer state otherwise.
How do you know when it's time to replace your heating system?
So you usually find once some major parts start going in the boiler later on in its life, they become really costly. And once those sort of larger main parts start going, it's probably a good time to get rid of it.
What's the best time of year to replace your boiler?
Ideally in the summer, because obviously if you do it in the winter you can be sitting there freezing while the work's being carried out. So if it can be done in the summer, great, but as we know, it doesn't always work out that way.
What's the worst thing you've seen in an old boiler?
I went to a boiler once and there was actually, it hadn't been serviced for so long, there was actually a bee's nest inside it. So that's a sort of good reason to get them checked once a year, really.
What's the biggest rip-off to watch out for when getting a new boiler?
I would say buy cheap, buy twice. There are a lot of cheaper boilers on the market and they don't come with as much warranty. I would say if the budget allows, go for a more reputable brand with a decent amount of warranty on it. That'll save you in the long run.
If someone's on a tight budget, what's the best way to upgrade their system?
So if you're on a tight budget, I would say go with the boiler first. That's the main sort of heart and soul of the whole system. And then when the budget allows, you can move on to maybe replacing the radiators for nicer ones later on.
What made this the right boiler for this home?
So this is a combination boiler. So this is perfect for the size of the flat. And it already had natural gas in the flat as well, so it made it the perfect choice.
Is this one of your go-to brands, or was there something specific about this one?
Yeah, we do use Ideal boilers. We're accredited installers for Ideal, so it is one of our go-to and one of our preferred fits, but we do install other brands as well.
What was the biggest challenge with this installation?
So I think on this one it was actually getting the old boiler out, because it was an old floor standing boiler, stood here, and it was made of cast iron, so it was just really heavy, so getting it down and out the stairs was a bit of a nightmare.
How long does something like this take, start to finish?
This job in particular took us 2 days to complete this one.
Did you have to move or put new pipes in?
Yeah, so we had to reconfigure all the pipe work in here, and in the loft we had to remove cold water storage tanks and a lot of redundant pipe work, because this is a different type of system to what was installed before.
Where do you think home heating will be in 10 years?
I think smart controls are definitely going to continue to grow, and they're definitely going to be a big part of it. In terms of what fuel or what systems we're going to be using, I don't really know, because I don't know which way the government's going to go with the fuels and stuff.
Will gas heating ever be completely replaced?
I don't think gas heating will be completely replaced, because there are so many of them out there. I think there's going to be some changes to it. It might be that, you know, there's some changes in the fuels that we're going to use and stuff like that. Hydrogen's being bandied about at the moment. So yeah, but for me at the minute, I don't think it will be fully phased out.
What should people know about air or ground source heat pumps?
So air and ground source heat pumps, they are a completely different system to gas boilers. They do operate at a slightly lower temperature and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're thinking of getting one, I think just, you know, look into it properly, make sure your house is going to be compatible with it, and just make sure that it is going to keep up with your heating and hot water needs, really.
What's one heating myth that drives you mad?
Combi boilers are rubbish. We hear it all the time. Combi boilers have come on a long way in the last few years, and yeah, they're more than capable of, in the right situation, taking care of people's heating and hot water needs.
So there you have it. Boilers, myths, and money-saving tips, all covered in some quick-fire questions with someone who knows what they're talking about. Thinking about upgrading your heating system? There's lots of useful information on the Checkatrade blog. Head to checkatrade.com/blog and find out more information. Got a heating question we didn't cover? Drop it in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more expert home improvement advice.